Your lunch looks like pig slop. With those words, my boss belittled the lunch that my husband and daughter had lovingly made for me. I put up with her insults for a long time, but this time I couldn't hold back, and I finally stood up to her. Her harassment escalated after I stood up to her. Then tragedy struck when my husband was in an accident, and our life was turned upside down. Worn down in body and spirit, I finally quit my job. Fast forward a few years. Why do you always have it so good? My old boss said to me when we met again. My name is Remy. I live with my husband James and our 5-year-old daughter Mabel. Today's lunch looks delicious. Thanks, Mom. You're welcome. I'll probably be late from work today, so enjoy your time with Dad. Please pick up Mabel from the childcare center. Okay. This is a typical morning scene in our household. I'm always rushed and bustling about, yet my husband and Mabel watch over me with smiles, never uttering a single complaint. I work in caregiving. It's a shift job with early and late hours, and overtime is common due to staff shortages. The work can be physically demanding, but I'm proud of what I do. It's my family's support that has enabled me to continue. Good morning. I arrive at work 5 minutes before start time. Remy, your hair's a mess. You take care of your family in the morning and then work full-time? You're truly amazing. My single colleague always praises me when I rush into the workplace. Blessed with good colleagues, I've been working hard, but enjoying my job. However, there's one person at my workplace who doesn't think well of me. Remy, you're cutting it close again today. You have a lot to do, so please come earlier and prepare. I'm sorry. The one who always finds something to complain about me is my female boss, Sissy, a veteran in this office. She's been here since I joined. From the beginning, I sensed she was harsh, but at first, she never said anything personal. If I asked her about work, she taught me well, and honestly, I relied on her in some ways. But since I returned from maternity leave, Sissy's attitude towards me has become harder. I didn't know why, but since others were also treated harshly by Sissy, I thought it was just her preference, and tried my best not to get on her bad side. One morning, I woke up to find that my husband and Mabel, usually sleeping beside me, were not in bed. Seeing the sunlight coming through the curtains, I was startled and looked at the clock. The clock hands were pointing at 7 o'clock. Oh no, I have to make lunch! I ran frantically to the kitchen. Good morning, Mom! I heard Mabel's cute voice from the kitchen. Sorry, I overslept. You must be tired from working late, so we let you sleep, just for a little while. We don't need lunch today, Mabel and I, so it's okay. All right, I went to sleep last night without even looking at the schedule for today. Today, Mabel had lunch at school, and my husband was out, so no lunches were needed. My husband and Mabel seemed to have refrained from setting the alarm, being considerate of my accumulated fatigue. Mom, eat this! We made it together. Mabel said this, and she and my husband smiled at each other. In Mabel's hand was my lunchbox. It was packed with sandwiches filled with boiled eggs, ham, cheese, and chicken, along with vegetable sticks and fruits. You two made this for me? I was so surprised that my voice cracked. Recently interested in cooking, Mabel often helps prepare meals, but she's only 5 years old. She can't use the stove or knife without me watching. On the other hand, my husband usually only makes boiled eggs. These two seem to have made lunch for me. I felt like crying. Mabel, Dad, thank you so much. My feelings were so overwhelming that words could not convey them, and I hugged them both. Every time I eat the lunch you make, Mom, I get so energized. Today, eat this lunch and get energized too. Mabel's words made my husband smile too. How happy I am. Thanks to them, my fatigue was completely gone, and I headed to work feeling light and happy. Then came the long-awaited lunch break. When I opened my lunchbox, a natural smile spread across my face. Sandwiches with finger marks, uneven vegetable sticks, slightly crushed fruit. Everything was adorable. I could see the two of them getting up early in the morning and working hard in the kitchen. Every bite made me feel energized. What are you so happy about? I suddenly glanced to the side, and there stood Sissy. Sissy peered into my lunchbox. Wow, that looks disgusting. Your lunch looks like pig food. Sissy said, laughing. What? Pig food? Normally, I would silently endure Sissy's insults without responding, but I just couldn't stand her insulting my precious family. I couldn't forgive her for calling the food that my husband and daughter worked hard to make for me pig food. Enough is enough! I slammed the desk and yelled. The break room fell silent. Sissy was momentarily taken aback by my outburst, but quickly glared back. It's the truth. You shouldn't defy your boss like that. You won't get away with it. With that, Sissy stomped away, her footsteps echoing. My blissful time was ruined. I closed my eyes to calm my anger. It's okay, I have my husband and Mabel. Thank you for the meal. I had finished the lovingly prepared lunchbox, and I felt recharged with energy and courage. I'll do my best this afternoon. As I returned to my desk, ready to work, I found a pile of colorful files. Wait, wasn't I supposed to be in charge of rehabilitation this afternoon? That's the thing. Sissy told Remy to do this, all by herself. Colleague said, pointing to the stack of files. These were files related to inventory management. By herself? I'll help once you're done. Colleague whispered, glancing at Sissy, before hurrying away. Inventory now? And all by myself? Today's overtime is confirmed. From that moment on, Sissy's harassment of me only worsened. You've been sighing a lot lately. Are you okay? I'm having a hard time getting along with my boss. I love my work, though. At home, I tried not to think about work, but my husband and daughter were worried about my constant sighing. Mom, don't overdo it. Encouraged by my husband and daughter, I managed to keep working. Then one day during work, I got a call from an unknown number. Hello, this is Sunshine Medical Center. May I speak to James's wife? That's correct. Your husband was in an accident and brought here. Thankfully, his life is not in danger, but could you come here as soon as possible? What? Yes, I'll be there right away. My husband's in an accident? I try to calm myself with deep breaths, but my heart races faster and faster. A colleague who was working with me looks at me with concern. Just leave the rest to me, Remy. Calm down. After I explain the situation, my colleague sends me off with these words. Rushing back to the office, I catch Sissy's eye. It seems my husband's been in an accident and has been taken to the hospital. Huh. Sissy responds indifferently without looking at my face. I need to leave early. Just go on then. It doesn't matter whether you're here or not. Without even looking at me, Sissy says this with an eerie smile. Sissy's nagging continues, but I ignore her, hurriedly prepare, and leave the office. Arriving at the hospital, I find my husband's left leg wrapped in bandages. Remy, I'm sorry to have worried you. I broke my left leg, but as you can see, I'm fine. My husband waves both hands to show me. I was told that his life wasn't in danger, but until I saw him, I was beside myself with worry. Don't scare me like that anymore. I'm sorry. Tears of relief overflow as my husband gently takes my hand. He broke his femur and will be hospitalized for 2 months. It will be a few months until he can return to normal life and work. From now on, I'll support the family. I declared this in front of my husband to bolster myself. From that day on, our life changed completely. Although it was already quite busy, now I had to care for my daughter, work, and handle my husband's laundry, all by myself. I could only sleep for about 3 hours. Moreover, I had to adjust my work schedule for my daughter's childcare, drop-off, and pickup. My colleagues said, "We help each other in times of trouble." But Sissy took every opportunity to put me down. You can't come early or stay late because of childcare? Normally, parents would help out or something. Anyway, it's because you're so spacey that you guys get into accidents. You and your family really are something, interfering with work like this. Huh. Sissy laughs snidely. If I could get my parents to come, I would have done so from the start. But both our families are far away, and there's no one nearby to rely on. Others were in the office, but no one cared. Well, if they spoke up to Sissy, they'd become her next target, so no one would risk defending me. I was already feeling constrained by having others do my work, but being criticized not only for me, but also for my family, had shredded my heart. That evening, when I stopped by my husband's hospital, he patted the bed, beckoning me to sit. Remy, something's wrong. You don't have to endure anymore. I had been desperately trying to be strong for the family, but my husband seemed to see right through me. I finally opened up to him about Sissy's harassment. After hearing everything, my husband quietly said, Remy, don't push yourself anymore. How about resigning from that workplace? Money's not a concern. As long as you're smiling, our family will be happy." My husband's words began to heal my battered heart. "James, thank you." With that, I submitted my resignation the next day. "You're just quitting your job in the end, huh?" Ignoring Sissy's nagging to the very end, I tidied up my belongings and left the company I had worked at for 10 years. With extra time on my hands, I started cooking with my daughter, accompanying my husband in his rehabilitation, and cherishing the time spent with my family. From the outside, it seemed like I was selflessly supporting my daughter and husband, but in reality, they were the ones helping me. Spending time with the two of them rejuvenated my stress-weakened heart, and I began to feel happy every day. "Mom, let's bake cookies today!" "Sure, we ran out of butter, so let's go buy some." Now I have time to leisurely make sweets with Mabel after she gets back from the childcare center. Hoping for this blissful time to continue, I decided to seriously start studying. 4 years later, after finishing shopping and waiting for the elevator, I was called from behind. "Remy, long time no see." A familiar voice. My body twitched in response. Turning around, the voice indeed belonged to my former boss, Sissy. I was at a loss for words, but Sissy continued. "I live on the top floor here." "Oh, really?" I had been tense until then, but Sissy's words made my lips loosen. I shifted into work mode. "Thank you for renting from us." What do you mean?" Sissy couldn't understand my words. "The owner of this high-rise condo is my husband." "What are you talking about?" Sissy's eyes darted around. In fact, my husband had bought this high-rise condominium when it was newly built 4 years ago. Then, right after that, he had an accident. While he was hospitalized, I quit my job and started studying frantically, taking over the owner's duties for the condo in place of my husband. Feeling suited for the owner's role, I continued to support my husband, even after he was discharged. I continued my studies, and now I own and manage a condominium myself. "How do you like our high-rise condo? The view from the top floor is stunning, isn't it? By the way, a new condominium was built in the neighboring city recently, and I am the owner there. It's close to the station and very convenient. If you know anyone who wants to live in a condo, I can give you a brochure." "Shut up!" I was eagerly pitching, thinking that someone living on the top floor would likely have money. But Sissy interrupted my words, screeching. "Why do you get to have all the good things?" She's not my boss anymore, so I'll tell her what I really think. I made up my mind to do just that. "What are you talking about? Working hard only to be belittled by you. What's so good about that?" Sissy's face twisted in anger. "You have a loving family, don't you?" "What?" Sissy looked down, murmuring softly. "If I had children, I wouldn't feel so miserable." Then Sissy revealed her inner thoughts in a voice so soft it was barely audible. According to her, she had married, but was unable to have children. She wanted them, but things didn't work out with her husband, who desired children too, and they divorced. As a result, all that remained for Sissy was her job, and she worked tirelessly to outperform everyone else. But every time she saw younger people getting married, having children, and taking a year of parental leave, she felt miserable. My busy mornings, rushing into work, seemed to her a symbol of happiness, and she was actually envious. At the same time, she couldn't stand my apparent happiness, blessed with a child and husband, and that's why she was harassing me. Hearing this didn't bring up any sympathy in me. Mixing personal feelings with work and harassing your subordinates is the worst thing a boss can do. I lost my job because of you. What you did is unforgivable. I said that and rode the elevator alone, closing the door. Sissy didn't apologize until the end and just stood there, looking down. Now, 3 months later, Sissy moved out of the apartment building. Rumor had it that after I quit, Sissy started targeting other staff who were raising children and continued harassing them, as she did to me. During this time, the company established a harassment consultation service due to stricter compliance in recent years. One day, there was an anonymous tip about Sissy's harassment, and the company conducted an internal investigation. They confirmed the facts and also uncovered that I had been forced to resign due to the harassment. Taking the situation seriously, the company decided to demote Sissy and transfer her to a lower-paying department. As a result, Sissy could no longer afford her rent and had to leave the high-rise apartment building. It's only what she deserved. My husband, who had been worried that Sissy might harass me again, seemed genuinely relieved that she had left the high-rise apartment building. I'm really thankful that you encouraged me to resign back then. Me too. I'm always thankful to Remy. Let's keep it going. With that, my husband reached out his hand. We shook hands and looked up at the vast sky. Our family's future will surely continue, just like this sky. Surrounded by the clear sky, we felt happiness in our everyday life together, as a trio. From the bottom of my heart, I wished to continue this way forever.
My husband's salary is a net of $1,400. Despite this, my husband is basking in attention from everyone, oblivious to his surroundings. He even deludes himself into thinking he's a high earner. Don't talk back to me, Jessica. I'm the breadwinner here. You should be grateful you married someone who earns as much as I do. If you have a problem, we can get a divorce anytime. Saying this, Tim belittles me. I'm so fed up with this life. If he wants a divorce, that's exactly what I want too. Besides, I wouldn't be in trouble if we divorced. After all, my savings are. I am Jessica. I met Tim, my husband, during our college days. Tim, the youngest of 3 siblings, was particularly good at getting pampered. He was adored not just by seniors but also by classmates. And his approachability made him popular among juniors as well. On the other hand, as the eldest daughter, known for being responsible, I often found myself looking after Tim, my classmate. Eventually, this naturally led to us dating. Our relationship continued as we became seniors. The first time Tim faced failure was during job hunting. Aiming only for major corporations, he was repeatedly rejected. Tim was the only one among our classmates without a job offer. But his popularity saved him. A former senior from his club introduced him to a job, and he joined that company. It's not a big company, but that means I can play an active role even as a newcomer. I think a place like this is better for utilizing my talents. Tim said this, contented. Soon after joining, he quickly became friendly with his colleagues and, using his natural charm, began to climb the corporate ladder. In his 3rd year, he started being called a candidate for executive. And as if waiting for that moment, he proposed to me. Jessica, will you support me for life? In 2 or 3 years, I'll be an executive. Then my salary will increase, and I can support you. Quit your job and focus on being a homemaker. Tim's income was only a net $1,400, not very high. Honestly, I was beginning to enjoy my work, so I hesitated. However, having always seen my mother as a homemaker, I vaguely thought that's what I should do after marriage. Ultimately, I quit my job as he suggested. I decided to support Tim so he could comfortably go to work. At first, Tim was grateful to me. But as years passed, he completely changed. Since I'm supporting you, it's only natural for a wife to do the housework, right? You're living a good life, not working and just doing household chores. He started openly looking down on me. Then one day, he asked me, Jessica, where's the suit I sent for dry cleaning? Huh? I just sent it out yesterday, so it's not back yet. Then he lost his temper at my reply. What? Didn't I tell you there's an important meeting today? I knew about the meeting, but you didn't specify which suit to wear. Are you a person who can only follow instructions? Can't you think for yourself? If you don't tell me, how am I supposed to know what you'll wear? We're married, you should know these things. This is why people who don't work are no good. You don't have to talk like that. But it's true, isn't it? While I'm working hard outside, you're just lazing around at home. I'm supporting you so you can work comfortably. You wanted that too, Tim. Support? I don't feel supported at all. At that moment, Tim seemed to have an idea. If you really want to support me, why not cook for my colleagues? We're going to celebrate my promotion soon. Instead of dining out, I'll invite them to our place. Okay, I understand. After that, I busied myself with planning the menu and buying additional kitchenware for the big day. On the day of the promotion celebration, Tim brought his colleagues from work to our house, one after another. The first to greet me was the senior from his club who had introduced him to the company. Jessica, long time no see. Thanks for having us today. The senior cheered upon seeing the spread of dishes on the table. Amazing. I had no idea you were such a great cook. Oh, it's nothing special. Tim's success at work is all thanks to your support, Jessica. The senior lavishly praised Tim. Inviting Tim to our company was definitely the right choice. Now he's even higher in position than me. Tim was in a great mood, being praised all evening. It's all thanks to your support, senior. His juniors and colleagues kept praising Tim, and he couldn't stop smiling. He seemed to enjoy this day so much that he started inviting his colleagues over almost every week. With each gathering, Tim's ego grew larger. Carried away by the crowd, he began boasting about himself while drunk. That's why I told Jessica, I'll support you. That's the spirit, Tim. That's a real man. The crowd cheered, and Tim looked quite pleased with himself. Well, it sounds good to say I'm supporting my wife, but in reality, I'm just letting a freeloader live in my house. It really ticks me off when she just lazes around at home without any gratitude, even though she lives off my earnings. Still, I think I'm quite a generous husband for keeping her around.
Yeah.
That's right. Good job. Tim has a big heart, and so generous. No, it's all thanks to the time when you invited me to the company, senior. I owe my current success to everyone at the company, not just my wife. Today's gathering is a token of my gratitude, so please eat and drink as much as you want. Thanks, I won't hold back. Let's all drink up and celebrate Tim's achievements. Cheers. I had so much to say, but in front of Tim's colleagues, I just swallowed my words. When it was almost time for everyone to leave, Tim suddenly said, This was really fun. A big change from spending weekends just with Jessica. Hey, how about we make this a weekly event? I'll get Jessica to cook whatever you guys request. Tim's colleagues were thrilled. I want to eat barbecue. Do you have a hot plate, Senior Tim? Not yet, but I'll buy one. I love lobster. Can you prepare that, Tim? Of course, for you, Senior. Everyone started requesting their favorite dishes, all expensive items. But since we couldn't ask them for money, the cost would all come out of our pocket. I hurriedly tried to stop Tim. Wait. It's troubling if you just decide like that. I want to relax on weekends too. What? You relax plenty during the weekdays. Why not work for your husband on the weekends? And the money too. As I tried to argue back, Tim sharply rebuked me. Hey. Enough already. Are you opposing me, your husband? Everyone is looking forward to this, so think before you speak. Then, Tim turned back to everyone and apologized. Sorry about my stupid wife. Seems like not working makes her lose her social sense. I'll discipline her properly later. Under Tim's pressure, I couldn't argue any further. But the story didn't end there. I secretly overheard some of his colleagues saying, Tim is really easy to manipulate. Flatter him, and he'll do anything. Well, that makes it easier for us. Right, I need to go home early to work on my side job. Can't live off just the company's salary. Pushing all the work onto Tim and doing a side job, you're quite cunning, Senior. Even if I work overtime, it's not like I get paid extra. So that's how it is. He's just being used by the company. And he's so oblivious, happily carried away. It was after everyone had left that Tim yelled at me. Hey, what was that attitude earlier? Don't embarrass me. Tim, please listen to me. I pleaded with my husband. If we entertain like this every week, it'll be a disaster for our finances. No matter how much savings we have, it won't be enough. Just manage it with your daily budgeting. You're being supported by a high earner like me, enjoying your life. You should at least make that effort. I'm already being frugal. But if we keep catering to your colleagues' demands every week with expensive meals, there's a limit to how much we can save, right? Tim, you're just being used by your seniors. What are you talking about? Those people rely on me, they value me. Responding to that is what being a man is all about. What would you, who don't work, know about it? But, I heard what those people were saying. Shut up. Those colleagues are far more important to me than you. They respect and depend on me. They're the ones who'll lift me higher. You, who just drag me down, are more of a hindrance in my life. I was stunned. I couldn't believe my husband thought this way. Tim, let's calm down. Let's talk about our future together, calmly. I proposed this as a last hope, but even that was rejected. Our future? Discuss? I'm the head of the household, the breadwinner. I won't allow you, who doesn't earn, to talk back to me. It's not talking back. I just want us to decide things together. That is talking back. You can't even earn properly. So you should just quietly follow my lead. If you don't like how I do things, we might as well get a divorce. A divorce. Yeah, that's right. You depend on me for your livelihood. Supporting someone useless like you is a disadvantage for me. But I'll accept it as the fate of a capable man. Okay, I understand. I can no longer stay with this man. I've made up my mind about Tim, who has completely changed. The next day, before Tim woke up, I packed my belongings and left the house. At most, he is used by his colleagues without knowing. That night, there was no contact from Tim. He probably thinks I'll give up and come back soon. A week later, perhaps getting anxious, I received an email from Tim. But it had no sign of remorse. How long are you going to sulk? If you don't come back soon, I won't care anymore. Don't come crying to me later. I ignored the email. It's unimaginable that I would ever go crying to Tim. A month passed without incident, and then Tim called me. Hey, the credit card company called and said, the savings account is zero, and the card payment couldn't be processed. You took my money, didn't you? I haven't touched the household money, you know? Then why is there no money left? There's no way you, an unemployed person, could live for a month without money. I have my own savings. Your own savings? There's no way a housewife like you would have that kind of money. I get it now. You must have been secretly transferring the household expenses into your own account. How deceitful. I would never do such a thing. It seems you thought I was just an unemployed person doing nothing, but actually, I was working a bit from home. Working from home. It must be some petty job. That kind of savings will run out quickly. You'll come begging to me later. I'll be fine. Huh? What's with that confidence? Because I have a savings of $1 million. I muttered this in my heart without saying it out loud. Actually, since becoming a housewife, I got interested in investing and started to steadily increase my income. Being a trader allows for flexible hours, and it's something I can do while taking care of the house. I started with small amounts considering the risk, but it seems I have a talent for investment. My profits have grown significantly, and now I'm over $1 million in the plus. Actually, I've been secretly investing without telling you. Investing? What do you mean? In terms of annual income, it's about 60 times what you make. It was just good luck, though. You're earning more than me. By the way, I've been wanting to tell you, your $1,400 salary isn't really high at all. Don't be ridiculous. I'm a rising star in the company. At that company, maybe. Even if you became an executive, the salary wouldn't change much. That's true, but even the seniors, who are still regular employees, are raising children, right? If the salary were low, they couldn't manage, could they? Don't you know? The seniors can't make ends meet on their salary alone. So they supplement their income with side jobs. That's why they push all the troublesome work onto you and leave early. For the company, it's also cost-saving to have you, who doesn't get overtime pay, work late as an executive. So, I was just being used. The easily flattered Tim must have been easy to handle. When you were away, they were all talking freely about you, not knowing I was listening. Why didn't you tell me? I tried to. But you said, the people at the company are more important than me. And wouldn't listen. Tim finally fell silent. Then he started making excuses. But we were living off my salary as a couple, so it wasn't a low income, was it? Did you really think we could live on just $1,400? The only expenses covered by your salary were rent and utilities. Everything else was supplemented by my income. I gave you money for groceries. A mere $100. It's surprising you think that's enough for two people's food expenses. You've been eating out and shopping as you like, but I've been paying all those credit card bills. Then Tim said in a fading voice, I left all the money management to you. Exactly, leaving all money management and housework to me. You just worked, right? You probably never even properly checked the card statements. Maybe you should go back to elementary school and relearn how to keep a budget book. Hey, can you at least pay this month's credit card bill? Why should I? Weren't you the one who used the card? We're a couple, aren't we? A couple? You said before, if you talk back, it's divorce. I thought you had already decided to divorce me since I've been opposing you so much. That's not true. I swore to support you for life when we got married. Such a cheap vow. In the end, you couldn't support me, let alone make me happy on your own. You weren't happy? You promised to support me. Yes, I tried to support you. But instead of being grateful, you belittled me. You said your colleagues were more important than me. How could I support someone like that? You always talk back. You're just contradicting your master. According to your logic, the one who earns more is the master, right? Then I'm in a higher position, aren't I? This time, Tim fell silent. Well, we're going to be strangers now, so there's no need to discuss who's superior. Wait. Is there really no chance to start over? Yes, it's impossible. You wouldn't be satisfied with a woman who earns more than you, wouldn't you? You always want to be greater than your wife, right? You should find someone who earns less so that you can act superior, as you used to. But with your salary, you can hardly live comfortably. This is how I firmly decided to divorce Tim. Realizing he couldn't live on his salary alone, he apparently started a part-time job after work. But since he couldn't manage housework, his appearance deteriorated. And he lost the only thing he was good at, his pleasant personality. The colleagues who once adored him are now shunning him. As for me, since separating from Tim, my unnecessary expenses have decreased. And my savings are growing. I've developed a good rapport with a man I met at an investment seminar. And my private life has begun to flourish. Unlike Tim, my current partner respects me regardless of how much I earn. With him, I might be able to walk a new path in life. I'm feeling quite optimistic about it now.